You finally do it. The world freezes. A raindrop hangs in midair. A bus stops mid-turn. Everyone around you locks in place. Mid-laugh, mid-step, mid-sentence. And then you realize something is wrong. You can't see the frozen raindrop. You can't see the bus, or the people, or your own hands. You are standing in a darkness deeper than any cave on Earth. And you cannot breathe. Because nobody who dreams about stopping time ever asks what happens to the light. Everyone has imagined this moment. The world stops. A raindrop hangs perfectly still. The people around you stand locked in place, and you, only you, can walk between them. It's one of the oldest daydreams there is. Free time. Infinite time. A pause button on the universe. So let's actually switch it on. Because the reality is stranger, darker, and far more interesting than the fantasy. First, we need to understand what we're stopping. Here's what most people get wrong about time. It isn't a substance flowing past you. You can't bottle it. Everything you have ever experienced as time passing is really just things moving. Planets orbiting, hearts beating, molecules vibrating, light crossing a room, chemicals firing between your neurons. Time isn't the river. Time is the word we use for the fact that things change, which means stopping time doesn't freeze some invisible cosmic clock. It stops motion. All of it. So let's set our rules honestly, because this scenario needs one deliberate cheat. Everything in the universe stops, except you. Your body, your thoughts, your movement continue normally. That single exception is pure fiction, and it's the only fiction we'll allow. Everything after it follows real physics. Ready? Time stops. And the first thing you notice is that you can't notice anything, because you're standing in absolute darkness. Light is motion. A photon isn't a glowing dot hovering in the air waiting to be seen. It's something traveling toward your eye at 300,000 kilometers per second. Freeze the universe, and every photon freezes with it, suspended mid-flight, halfway between the street lamp and your face. Nothing reaches your eyes, not one particle of light. That beautiful frozen world you imagined, you would never see a single moment of it. And it gets worse. Sound is motion too, vibrations rippling through air. Stop the air, and the silence isn't quiet. It's absolute. No hum, no breeze, not even the sound of your own voice, because your words need moving air to exist. Now try to take a step. Air feels like nothing to us, because it politely gets out of the way. But every cubic meter around you holds more than a trillion molecules. If those molecules cannot move, they cannot be pushed aside. And something that cannot be pushed aside is, functionally, a wall. You'd be standing inside a solid block of frozen air, unable to walk, unable to reach out, unable, in fact, to breathe. Because air can't flow into lungs expanding against a substance that refuses to move. That's the first great irony of stopping time. You wouldn't stroll through a frozen world reading other people's secrets. You'd be trapped, blind, deaf, and suffocating inside the most beautiful moment you can no longer perceive. But suppose we cheat a second time. Suppose light behaves and the air parts for you. Now the real problem begins, because you are still aging. If you are exempt from stopped time, your cells keep dividing. Your body keeps burning through its own clock. Spend an afternoon in the frozen world, and you come back an afternoon older than everyone else. Spend a year, and you return a year older, to a world where not one person has aged a single second. The power that promised you more time takes it from exactly one person. You. Stay long enough, and you'd grow old, completely alone, in a silent museum of people who never knew you left. And here's the twist that makes physicists smile. Even with all our cheating, this scenario has a flaw we can't patch. Because in our universe, there is no universal now to pause. Einstein showed that time doesn't tick at the same rate everywhere. It runs slower for things moving quickly, and slower near strong gravity. Two events that happen at the same moment for you can genuinely happen at different moments for someone moving relative to you. Not because their clock is broken, but because there is no master clock to be right about. So, stopping time everywhere, all at once, isn't merely difficult. It's a request the universe has no place for. You'd need a single universal moment to freeze, and physics quietly informs us that no such moment exists. Which brings us to the strangest part of all. We can't stop time, but we can already slow it. And we do, every single day. Astronauts return from long missions having aged a few milliseconds less than the rest of us. Particles born in the upper atmosphere survive the trip to the ground only because their internal clocks run slow at high speed. GPS satellites would guide you to the wrong street entirely if engineers didn't correct their clocks for relativity every single day. Time bends. It stretches. It's local, personal, and negotiable. It just doesn't stop. And maybe that's the real answer hiding inside the fantasy. What we actually want when we wish for a pause button isn't a frozen world at all. It's the opposite. A moment that keeps going. Something worth staying inside. The universe only offers one version of that. Pay attention while it's happening. So here's tonight's question. If you got 1 hour in a stopped world, light, air, and every cheat included, what would you actually do with it? And would it be worth the hour it cost you? Every question creates a new reality, and reality is just one version of the truth. Every possibility deserves exploration. The next one begins with a single question. What if? Subscribe and explore what comes next.